Mm-hmm. The
Daled Aleph, yeah.
The mitzvahs of lulav and the willow branch are performed 6 or 7 days. The recitation of Challah and the mitzvah of rejoicing are performed 8 days. The mitzvahs of Sukkah and the water libation are performed 7 days, and the flute is played 5 or 6 days. How is the mitzvah of lulav performed 7 days? If the first day of the festival falls on Shabbos, the lulav is taken 7 days. But if it falls on any of the other days, it is taken 6 days. How is the mitzvah of the willow branch performed 7 days? If the 7th day of the willow ceremony falls on Shabbos, the willow ceremony is performed 7 days. But if it falls on any of the other days, the ceremony is performed 6 days. Okay.
So mitzvahs lulav ketzad. How's the mitzvah of lulav done? Yom Tov Harishon Shel Chag Shechal Yos b'Shabbos. So what happens if you do have first day Sukkah is on Shabbos? Molichin is lulavehen lechar habayis. So we saw a previous Mishnah where they were talking about the regular shuls around the country in the time of the Mikdash when people still took took lulav on Shabbos. Here we're talking about in the Mikdash itself. So people would take their lulavim to Har Bayis. And you've got thousands and thousands of people over here, and they would take the lulavim and just put them all along the top of the Itztaba. The Itztaba was also the place where they would spread out the paroches, if you recall.
Right.
Yeah, the roof of a building. Okay. And those who had privileged status, the zakenim, got to keep theirs inside one of the offices. And they would teach the people to say, and they would say, listen, it's got to be fair. Whoever you're going to benefit from somebody else's lulav, there's no way we can keep track of everyone's personal lulav. So everyone must give a gift of whoever to whoever picks up their lulav, so that you make sure that everyone owns their own lulav on first day. So the next day they would wake up and they would come to the Har Bayis. And the Chazanim would then throw all the lulavim down onto the ground. And the minhag was that they would beat each other up to try and grab a good lulav. Okay, this isn't working. I said, forget it. You're not taking your lulavim in the Har Bayis. Leave your lulav at home and do the thing at home. So I guess that's the kind of thing that only had to happen once.
Right.
It's interesting.
I like when I look at this word. I think it's the wrong subject. Actually, it says they would snatch them, striking one another. And when the Beis Din saw that they were endangered, did they mean the attendants were endangered or the elderly? I know that means the elderly, but I was just thinking that I said they must think
they're talking about all the people, all of Am Yisrael, all of the they're all trying to grab a good lulav at this point. So somebody thought it'd be a good idea to say, okay, we'll put them out there, and everyone will take one and they'll give a gift and it'll all be nice.
Right. But I was when I saw the word there, I said, oh, that's funny because that would be the attendants are worried that they're going to get smacked in the head or something like that. So but it's the wrong subject. So okay.
Mishna, hey, mitzvah arava ketzad. Okay, so what's the mitzvah of the arava? Makom hayalamata miYerushalayim v'nikra motza. Okay, so there's a place called Motza outside Yerushalayim. You know Motza?
Yes.
Okay. Yordin Lasham u'melaktin misham murbios shel arava. So they would go down there and they would grab branches of arava u'bayin v'zoktin osam b'tzid ha'mizbech, and they would take them and stick them by the sides of the mizbech. Rosheim kefufin al gabe hamizbech, and their heads they would be so tall that the tops would be able to bend over the top of the mizbech. Remember the mizbech is pretty tall.
Yeah.
How high was it? We have that coming up in Midos, how big the mizbech was, but it was taller than two people standing on each other's shoulders.
Taller than two people. Okay, so that's if you have 2 6-foot people, so
that's
yeah. It's not 20. It's not 20, almost. It's no.
Yeah, it's here we go. Achas Amma. So they said that they were 11 amas high.
11, okay.
Yeah.
That
So,
is,
and the Mizbeach was 10 amas high. Right.
that
So
shows that
it
there
was
was group
1
over,
amma higher
right?
than the top of the Mizbeach according to Kati. Okay.
Right.
Taku, Heru, Taku. So they would blow Tekiah, Terua, Tekiah. B'chol yom makipin es hamizbeach pam achas. Every day they would go around the mizbeach one time. Does this sound familiar? This is like what we do with the Hoshanas. Okay. V'omrim ana Hashem Hoshiana, ana Hashem Atzlichana. Ana Hashem Hoshiana. Sounds familiar? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Ani Vaho Hoshiana. He says it was a different thing. It was Ani Vaho Hoshiana, which we have on Hoshana Rabbah. We have one of what do they call it? A piyut. One of the piyutim is called Ani Vaho Hoshiana. Also Hayom Makipin Es HaMizbeach Sheva Pamim, and on that seventh day, they would go around the Mizbeach 7 days. And when they would leave from at the end of the kafas, what would they say? Yofi lach mizbeach, yofi lach mizbeach. They would say, it's beautiful for you, mizbeach. It's beautiful for you. We did this all for you. Kind of addressing the mizbeach. Rabbi Eliezer Omer, Leka v'lach mizbeach, leka v'lach mizbeach. Rabbi Eliezer says you can't just talk to the mizbeach. You've got to talk to Hashem. Can't make it clear that it's just for the mizbeach. He doesn't like that idea. But the Gemara asks actually the question on Rabbi Eliezer said, but you can't join Hashem's name with something else. And it says actually this is a shortened form of what they would say. Says the Gemara. It says the ka anachnu modim v'lach mizbeach anu mishabachim. So it's two different phrases. Not that they're joining Hashem and the Mizbeach, and putting them and sort of equating them, because equating Hashem with any other object is kind of scandalous, blasphemous. Okay, Mishna Vav, K'masehu b'chol kach masehu b'Shabbos. Ela she'ayu melaktin osan me'erev Shabbos u'menichen osan b'gigios shel zahav kedei shelo yikich Moshe. So instead of going to Motzah on Shabbos day to get the branches, because they can't violate Shabbos for something that they could have done before Shabbos, what they do is they cut it off on Erev Shabbos and they leave it in a vase of water, a golden vase.
It had to be a big vase though. If these were 11.
Yeah. Rabbi Yochanan ben Baruch Omer Charios shel dekel hayumavin. So Rabbi Yochanan ben Baruch has a completely different memory of how things were. He says no, they would get palm branches, not willow branches. They get palm branches. They would take the palm branches and beat them on the ground at the side of the mizbeach. Also, Yom Nikra Yom Chibut Charios, and that day was called the day of beating the branches, not the Yom Shvi Shel Arava. So, do the Chachamim look at him, stare at him, and say, "No, we didn't do that." He says, "It's the Yesh Mefarshim she'enu cholek ela legabe Yom Shvi'i." He says, some say he's only disagreeing about the seventh day. Where Rabbi Yochanan ben Baruch learns in addition. He says in addition to the willow branches, they would also bring the palm branches. But the halacha does not follow Rabbi Yochanan ben Baruch. Okay. Beis Daled.
Oh, what did I do? Okay, Beis Daled. If one makes a sukkah between the trees and the trees serve as its walls, it's valid. Those who are engaged in the performance of mitzvah are exempt from the mitzvah of sukkah. Ill people and their attendees attendants are exempt from the mitzvah of Sukkah. We may eat and drink casually outside the Sukkah. Once they brought Reb Yochanan ben Zakkai some cooked food to taste. And to Rabbi Gamliel, they brought 2 dates and a pail of water. And they said, bring them up to the Sukkah. But when they gave Reb Tzadik's food smaller than the volume of a beitza, he took it with a cloth and ate it outside the Sukkah and did not recite the benediction after it. Reb Eliezer says a man is obligated to eat 14 meals in the Sukkah, 1 each day and 1 each night. But the Chachamim say this is a matter has no fixed obligation, and except for the night of the first Yom Tov and of the festival only. Reb Eliezer further stated, whoever did not eat in the Sukkah on the night of the first Yom Tov must compensate it for the night of the last Yom Tov. But the Chachamim say this matter has no compensation. About it, the matter, it is said, a twisted thing cannot be made straight, and what is not there cannot be numbered. So if you didn't get the first night, you can't make it up anyway. There's no way to make it up.
Right, you missed the opportunity.
Okay. A person who has his head.
That's 3.
That was 3?
Yeah.
Wow. Sure. All right.
Okay, Shkalim, Zayin Aleph.
Zayin Aleph. Coins which are found between the shkalim chest and the native offering chest, if they are found close to the shkalim, they should fall to the shkalim chest. If they closer to the native chest, they should fall to the donative offering chest. If equidistant from the two, they should fall to the donative offering chest. Coins which are found between wood and frankincense, if they are found closer to wood, they should fall to wood, and closer to frankincense, they fall to the frankincense. If equidistant from the two, they should fall to frankincense. Coins which are found between nest and young pigeon burnt offerings, if they are found closer to nest, they should fall to nest. If closer to young pigeon offerings, they should fall to young pigeon burnt offerings. Equidistant from the two, they should fall to young pigeon burnt offerings. Coins which are found between non-consecrated funds and the second tithe funds, if they are found closer to the non-consecrated funds, they should fall to non-consecrated funds. If closer to second tithe funds, they should fall to second tithe funds. If equidistant from the two, they should fall to second tithe funds. This is the general rule. We decide according to the proximity, even for leniency, but in the case of equidistance, we go for stringency. Coins which are found before animal dealers in Jerusalem are always assumed to be second tithe money. Coins found on the Temple Mount are assumed to be non-consecrated. Coins found elsewhere in Jerusalem, if they are found during the pilgrimage festival, they are assumed to be second tithe money, but during the rest of the year, they are assumed to be consecrated.
Unconsecrated.
Non-consecrated. If meat is found in the temple courtyard, limbs are assumed to be burnt offerings, but slices are assumed to be sin offerings. If meat is found in Jerusalem, it is assumed to be peace offerings. In either case, it must be left until it is unfit and then removed to the place of burning. If meat is found in the province, limbs are assumed to be unslaughtered, but slices are permitted. At the time of the pilgrimage festival, where meat is plentiful, even limbs are permitted. Okay.
Just 9 base.
Okay. We may save enough food for 3 meals. What is fit for people may be saved for people. What is fit for animals may be saved for animals. How so? If a fire broke out on Shabbos Eve, we may save only enough food for 3 meals. If during the morning, we save only enough for 2 meals. If in the afternoon, we save only enough for 1 meal. Rabbi Yossi says we may always save enough food for 3 meals. We may save a basket full of leaves. We may save a basket full of loaves, even though there's enough in it for 100 meals, or a round cake of pressed figs, or a barrel of wine. And we may say to others, come and save for yourselves. If they were discerning, they would make a reckoning with him after Shabbos. To where may they take them for safety? To a courtyard provided with an erev. But Ben Becerra says, even to one not provided with an erev. And they may say to others, come and save with me. Reb Shimon ben Nanan says we may spread a kid's hide over a chest, a box, or a closet that has caught fire. Because did I make a mistake?
No, we're done.
You're done. Okay. I was trying to do it less than 4 years. So. Okay, we have. If one recited the blessing over wine before the meal, he has exempted the wine drunk after the meal. If one recited a bracha over a paperet before the meal, he may not recite any other. He may recite another blessing over the paperet after the conclusion of the meal. If he recited the blessing over bread, he has exempted the paperet, and over paperet, he does not exempt the bread. But Shammai says also not any cooked dish. If they were sitting upright to eat, each one blesses for himself. If they recline, one blesses for all. If wine was brought to them during the meal, each one blesses for himself, and after the meal, one may bless for all. He also recites the blessing over the incense, even though the incense is served after the meal. Now, I was in Dubai. A lot of places in the street, they had the like incense burning outside, the store. Boy, it smelled so. It didn't smell so good to me. It just didn't, I don't know, but it just didn't smell good. It just, I don't know. It just, I expected a nice odor, but it wasn't that kind to me anyway. But they served him with the savory to begin with, and with bread with it. He recites the appropriate blessing over the savory and exempts the bread. Since the bread is now secondary, this is the rule. Whenever there is a staple food accompanied by a subsidiary item, it recites the blessing over the staple and exempts the subsidiary. Okay. It was about Ikel and Tovel over here. We bought, when we were in Dubai, we bought saffron. Did you ever use saffron? Have you?
Must be like the most expensive spice in the world, isn't it?
Yeah, it's supposed to be very expensive. I don't know. But we just got a little bit, but it was
the yellow stuff.
Excuse me?
Yellow stuff.
Yeah, so my wife made this Shabbos. She made the rice and put some. They said just put a few flakes in. So I saw a few spots of yellow, but that was it. Maybe she has to put more in. She said, it's just. I thought that it would, just a few flakes would. They said it makes the whole thing yellow and all, but what we tasted was good, but it was just a little container of it. That's all. But it is expensive. It was expensive, and we bought some Arabic tea kind of tea. The tea like you get in the shuk, you get the little I forget what they're called, but little things that you put in the tea and it colors it and gives it a taste. Have you seen those? I'm sure you have. I'm just not describing it properly. So these were the same kind of things. This is had a nice taste to it though. But so that's what we brought home. So we have Hey Vav.
Mm-hmm.
They reached the area between the antechamber and the altar. One Kohen took the shovel and threw it between the antechamber and the altar. A person could not hear the voice of his fellow in Yerushalayim due to the sound of the shovel, and the sound served three purposes. A Kohen who heard its sound would know that its brethren, the Kohanim, would be entering the Hekel to prostrate themselves, and he would run and come. And a Levi who heard its sound would know that his brethren, the Levium, would be entering the courtyard to chant the song, and he would run and come. And the head of the Mamad would post the Tamei Kohanim at the eastern gateway to the Temple Mount. They began ascending the steps of the antechamber, and the two Kohanim who were around the privileges clearing the ash from the inner altar and from the menorah would go ahead of them. The Kohen who won the privilege of carrying the ash from the inner altar entered the Hekel and took the basket and prostrated himself and exited. The Kohen who won the privilege of clearing the ash from the menorah entered the Hekel, and if he found the two easternmost lamps burning, he would clean the ash of the eastern lamp and would leave the western lamp burning, because from it the Kohen would kindle the other lamps of the menorah in the evening. If he found the western lamp went out, he would clear his ash and light it from the fire of the Ola altar. He took the jug from the second step and prostrated himself and exited. The Kohen who won the privilege of the shovel service heaped up the coals on top of the inner altar and flattened it with the bottom of the shovel and prostrated himself and exited. Yeah.
All right. Baba Matzia.
Yeah, Baba Matzia. We have Hey base. If one lends to another, he may not dwell in his courtyard gratis, nor but if at the time of threshing, I give it to you for 12 mana, and he's prohibited. If he sold him a field and he gave him part of the money and he said to him, Whenever you wish, bring the money and take yours. It is prohibited. If he lent him on the security of his field and said to him, if you do not pay me within 3 years, it is mine. It is his. And so Visos, the son of Zonan, want to do with the consent of the sages. A storekeeper may not set up for half the profit, nor may money be given from with which to buy produce at half profit, unless he gives him his wages as a laborer. Hens may not be set to brood at half profit, nor may calves or fowls be assessed at half profit, unless he gives him the wage of his toil and the feed. But calves or foals may be accepted for half profit and raised until they reach a third of their growth, and a donkey until it can bear a burden.
Yeah.
A cow or a donkey.
We're done.
That was it.
Yeah, but I think you might have skipped a page. I was like sort of half distracted, and then I found that you'd gotten a lot further than I thought you had. I'm not sure if you did the whole of Mishna base before.
Yes. Base. All right. So, yeah, I did. If one lends money to another, he may not dwell in his courtyard gratis. Nor may he rent from him for the fees because it is increased. The rent may be increased, but the sale price may not be increased. How? If he rented from him from his courtyard and said to him, if you pay me now, you may have it for 10 shalom per year. But if you pay for the whole month in its month, you may pay a seller a month. It is permissible if you sold him his field and said to him, if you pay me now, it is yours for 1,000 zuz. But at the time of threshing, I give it to you for 12 mana. It's prohibited. That's what was left out. Okay. All right. I think the other spice that's expensive is I just forgot what it's called. Can't remember. Some